Hey guys, Cookie here. So, Palworld's early access has been out for around a week, and its success is hard to overstate. The game itself is massive when it comes to number of PAL species, map size, different environments, different things to do. As great as all that is, when you have this much stuff going on, you're bound to have some problems and hiccups along the way that drive players nuts. That's what this video is all about. All the little and sometimes big annoyances that Palworld has that we'd all love to see fixed in the future, or maybe we might just have to learn to live with it. Before going into the list, I do want to make clear that we are big fans of this game and are not trying to say the game in any way is bad, but offering criticisms of things in the game that could definitely potentially be improved. So with that said, here's the list. First off, let's talk about some PAL issues, like when your PAL kills the creature you are trying to capture. Personally, I like to have a PAL along my side when I go exploring, so when I'm out and about and all of a sudden I come upon a PAL that I want to capture, maybe it's a shiny PAL, I sometimes forget that my powerful PAL is right alongside me and may kill said PAL if it shoots out too powerful of an attack. This is especially annoying if the PAL you are confronting is especially rare and will only be captured if their health is very, very low. Of course, you can just put your PAL away when you get to that moment, but that can be very hard to gauge. Some of that is the fun of it and trying to get it right, but even if you plan accordingly, sometimes the PAL will do things you couldn't have possibly predicted and unleash a crazy powerful attack that finishes the creature immediately. Turning the PAL to passive also isn't that easy to do quickly, so yes, all this is very annoying for players to have to deal with. Now let's talk PAL issues at the base, because there's a lot of them. First off is PALs not listening to you when you assign them somewhere. Palworld has a system for assigning PALs to certain areas where you lift them up and throw them at the area you want them at. Rather aggressively, I might add. Unfortunately, this rarely works. You will often get the message that reads, "There is no active area for them to work at," which is simply not accurate. If left to their own devices, PALs will often not work at the areas that you need them to, and the sticking system for assigning PALs just simply almost never works. Another problem at the base is PALs that get stuck in the map or stuck outside of the base, so they get hungry because they can't eat because they're stuck. Sometimes this isn't a big deal because you just spawn them back in at the PAL box or go lift them up and throw them back in the base, even though that in itself is annoying. But it's most annoying when you can't figure out which PAL is hungry. All you see is the hungry sign and no PAL attached to it. It doesn't even tell you in the top right corner if which PAL is hungry either. Sometimes they don't show. As the game progresses, you'll have over a dozen PALs at once, and sorting out which one is hungry is very annoying. You'll have to take all the PALs and respawn them, which is aggravating, but wouldn't be so bad if it didn't happen often. But after you respawn them and go explore, you'll come home and probably see at least one of them glitched out once again. Poor, hungry, glitchy PALs. PALs also get in the way while building at your base, especially if you have a PAL in your party. They will always get in the way of building. It's like they know exactly where you want to build and purposely sit in that spot and stare at you, almost taunting you. Even though that's easy enough to fix by just putting the PAL away, you still have the issues of PALs at the base getting in the way of building too, especially as you get more and more PALs walking around at the base. A lot of things about the PALs at the base are some of the coolest things in the game, and how fun it is to see all your PALs working efficiently. So these are a few criticisms of stuff that routinely doesn't work about the base and the PALs in them, so hopefully they'll get better in time. Another base issue that doesn't involve PALs this time is breaking down stuff and then having all the stuff required for that fill up your inventory so you're encumbered and can't move. It would work better if the materials for that item simply fell to the ground and then your PALs could move them into an inventory, or it could just stay there until you're ready to deal with them. This can also be a problem when you mass cook or mass create something like a lot of iron or wood, because you can't take it all at once, so you have to keep breaking it down by half until you can carry it, and it's very hard to organize. In both cases, this could be made easier by only being able to take part of the stock instead of the whole thing all at once, or maybe just enough of the materials fill up your inventory without completely encumbering you, so you can at least move and get rid of the stuff. Also at the base is the medicine workbench, which takes an insanely long time to make stuff, significantly longer than almost anything else at the base. You could be sitting at the bench for 5 to 10 minutes just to make one high-functioning medicine, which seems a bit extreme. This might not be as bad if the PALs who have the medicine ability would actually do it for you, but remember the issue with assigning I mentioned earlier, so that doesn't always happen. Medicine can be very needed sometimes, even on a mass scale, so waiting forever for that is a major annoyance and inconvenience that frankly just doesn't make much sense to me. One more annoyance that has to do with the base is the pickiness of the egg incubators. If you've ever played Ark Survival Evolved, they too have an egg incubator system where certain eggs require a certain amount of heat or cold to incubate effectively and hatch sooner, and in Ark's cases sometimes with better stats. If you wanted to do this, you simply added more fires until it was at the right temperature. Palworld's system with incubators is much less effective because you can put as many campfires as you want next to the eggs and it still won't matter. One campfire is the same as 10 campfires as far as the eggs are concerned, and that's just not very well thought out. Better if it forces you to find a way to have multiple campfires putting off a certain amount of heat, even if you have to build a special area for it. Plus, the eggs just hatch faster, not with any extra skills, which would be a nice addition to make you want to incubate it even better. Staying on the subject of eggs, you will find a bunch of eggs in the wild, and some will be in difficult to get to areas like on the edge of a cliff or the top of the mountain, which makes it seem like these eggs may be more valuable. So then you find a mount to get you there or glide into position, only to find out that your egg is just a simple egg, and that's it. Likewise, you could just be strolling around the forest and find a huge egg in the middle of the road. These spawns don't make sense from a difficulty standpoint. You should want to coax the player into resolving tough egg spawn situations so they can feel more accomplishment at discovering and capturing the egg. But as of now, there's no real reason to risk getting in a tough area for the egg because it probably won't be worth it. Another oddity about Palworld lays in the capturing system, where you'll throw a sphere at a creature with a high catch rate and not catch them. Sometimes it's just bad luck, and sometimes it seems like there's a glitch going on if you do it like 5 times in a row and they still don't catch. Adversely, you often have less than 5% chance of catching and somehow catch them anyway. I would say that's just having great luck, but in most cases I think it might have more to do with the system of the game not working out quite right. You also might only have a couple of PAL spheres and have a great shot at catching them just to see the cheeky bastard got away again. Ugh, the pain. It can also be painful accidentally throwing a PAL sphere. This happens most often to me when I'm on a mount because I switch up my bumpers and throw a PAL sphere at absolutely nothing. This is especially annoying if you happen to be on hyper or mega spheres at the time and threw one away for nothing after spending days getting to the point where you could craft one. This isn't really an issue Pocket Pair can fix. It just sucks. Armor in this game is also an annoyance. It takes a lot to build armor in this game, and as soon as you get in battle and take a hit, boom, it's gone. Armor doesn't really seem to even do anything except protect you from the elements, because it definitely doesn't protect you from enemies. Even if I do low risk exploring, I still come home with a destroyed armor piece every single time, and have to keep repairing it over and over again. Boss fights in this game are mostly annoying because they can be extremely glitchy. The most annoying thing about glitches is when they glitch to a spot where you can no longer kill them. They could be almost dead and now you can't finish the battle, or they glitch and get stuck in the environment, or teleport and kill you, and not because they have a teleporting ability either. Boss battles in general could be amazingly fun and awesome, but a lot of times they're just very glitchy. This is one annoyance I would expect them to improve in the future. The next two issues are easily fixable, I think. The first one being the fact that the descend ability on a flying mount and one of the attack moves is the same exact button. I assume this was just an oversight by Pocket Pair in a gigantic game full of things happening, but if you're trying to descend and suddenly start breathing fire, that's annoying. It's worse if you accidentally cook a PAL that happened to be in front of you, especially if it's a high-level PAL you didn't want to piss off, or maybe it's a PAL you were hoping to capture and not completely eradicate. Like I said though, that should be an easily fixable thing in the future. Lastly, an issue with the dungeons. The dungeons are a confusing mess when it comes to finding your way around. Almost every room looks exactly the same, so trying to find the chests or the boss is hard, but not in a fun way, just in an annoying why is this a thing way. There's also no map when you're in a dungeon, so there's no way to tell where you are. Some players might like that you can get lost in dungeons because it's more realistic that way. I don't know, but it doesn't come off like a puzzle. It just comes off more like an annoyance. A map of the area as you discover would make it a lot easier, so you could at least backtrack once you're done with it. Alright guys, that does it for this video. Like I said earlier, we're not just trying to wail on this game, we're big fans of it, but it's big and has little issues like this, and this way the little issues can be fixed in some cases and improve the game even more. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe if you have not done so already, and hit the bell for notifications, and we will see you guys in the next video.